So even more information has dropped now about Masters of the Universe Revelation. And I got to say, I don't know how Kevin Smith is going to get out of this one. Although I do hear he's quite upset on his podcast. I hear he doesn't like that people are questioning what he's done with this show or people that criticize him. We already know that from how he treated the clownfish when he called them out on social media. Well, they were right. And as more stuff comes out, Kevin Smith really should be kind of ashamed of himself. So this is the news that's been going around today. There's a little bit more to it. But apparently, because He-Man is, well, I mean, it's kind of an unavoidable fact. The dude is a humongous blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy, which, you know, is kind of the reason why I think a lot of these rumors are true, because you can't have someone that looks like He-Man as a hero, front and center, as a part of a property anymore. The woke crowd, they don't like it, and they don't allow it. So it seems to get around this, he's now been descended from people of color. So apparently, they've swapped his grandfather and changed him into a gentleman of color. And it's like, so is this just to get around? Oh, okay. Well, you know, he's biracial, so it's not really the same. I mean, I really honestly don't care. I just think it's funny what they've been doing. So this is Masters of the Universe Revelation Volume 1 from Dark Horse Comics. Words by Kevin Smith, Rob David, and Tim Sheridan. Art by Mindy Lee. You can also see a picture. I believe this is his grandfather right here. This must be all the old He-Man. Maybe they somehow come back to life. I'm not sure. But I think this is funny. Now, I saw Clownfish talked about this tweet right here. I don't know if this is true or not, but He-Man's ancestor, King Grayskull, has been turned black for the Netflix series. One writer had this to say: "We asked ourselves early on about the need for two giant white blonde dudes in the pantheon of Motu. They're meant to look alike, though." So this is where we're at. This show's going to be a woke mess. A woke mess. And apparently, Cosmic Book News, at least, is saying they passed on using an original character to swap out his grandfather, which is very, very strange. Why wouldn't you just have, like, couldn't he just been the original He-Man or something? I don't know enough about the lore of this show to say if they could do this. But couldn't they have just made this guy the original He-Man instead and made him like an original character? But I feel like they just made his grandfather this way so they can say, well, you know, he's descended from POC. So I mean, just because he's, you know, this way, if they could have changed him and got away with it, they would have. Maybe why don't they just reboot and make a new show with all this animation? And I think it would have solved a lot of the problems. But no, once again, they've got to grab onto He-Man because, well, it's a property that's known, so they can attach their woke agendas to it. We already know Teela is the main character of the show. She's probably going to become She-Woman or something at the end of it. Oh, wait, no, there's two power swords. So if you watch the trailer, the power sword gets split into two, which probably splits the power in two. And I bet you him and Teela will become equally She-He-Men or something. I don't know. She-Woman and He-Man. And, of course, she'll be a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit, because I doubt he broke it right down the middle. So probably a fragment of her sword will be a little bit bigger. So she'll be a little bit buffer and bigger and more powerful than He-Man. I guess they did this to another character, too. This character right here, I guess they swapped her out. This woman next to Orca, I don't know. Said Andrea is the name of the character. I just find all of this funny. It's like you could have done something special with this. Nobody cares if you want to bring in people of color for characters, but it's just all of this tweaking that's getting done to the show I find kind of funny. And I'm telling you, like, I can't wait to see the responses of people that are big fans of this franchise. Like, what are they going to think about this, right? All these lies that Kevin Smith has put out there, all he's done is lie and lie and lie. And I guess he's getting angry on his podcast. I think it's called Fat Man with Batman or something. According to Bounding into Comics, he's been getting salty on his podcast because, well, I guess all of that nerd cred that he's built up, it's kind of gone out the window a little bit. Probably from all of those years of crying at Disney Star Wars premieres. I mean, the dude has put this guy, it's like he's sitting at a control deck and he's like dialing woke shill all the way up to 20. Seriously, go look at it. Like, that's like in my thumbnails, I use him crying a lot. That's from like I think a Disney Star Wars movie or something. I mean, the dude just cries at everything now. Oh, by the way, take a look at this quote. This comes from this woman's tweet right here. So apparently this came from a He-Man and She-Ra fan Facebook group where a fan remarked about preferring they make a new black character instead of race-swapping original white characters, where Ted Baselli defended his choice to make He-Man black and say no one gives a S word about an original black character. Says, I hear you, and that will indeed be a party of our story too, but a big hurdle when you're introducing a new character to a line of so many well-established characters is that they are bound to be outsiders and harder to accept as canon, at least for a while. Nobody gives a shit about Sir Lazarlot. We asked ourselves early on about the need for two giant white blonde dudes in the pantheon of Motu, and honestly, it makes both characters less special in their iconography. I wish I could take credit for being the one with the idea to make Grayskull black, because now in the history of all the champions of Grayskull, a black man has a role of prominence as opposed to just being the guy with the clamp who's King Randor's bodyguard. So the show was meant to go woke from the start, and I don't know. I just can't see this really being a home run. Netflix has been making weird decision after decision. I really don't see why you just couldn't have told told a story that fans would want to see, but they always have to take all of this stuff and move it into some direction. It's ridiculous. Just like they're doing with Lord of the Rings, though, it's the media that's really pushing that one. I don't know if that's an Amazon push. They're telling people to push the crazy stuff with Lord of the Rings or not. I don't know. But anyway, what are your thoughts on all this? I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that and subscribe if you're new.